And before the removal of petrol subsidy, inflation was already on a steady rise in Nigeria. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows inflation rose to 25.80% in August. A significant increase reflects the impact of the removal of petrol subsidies and the devaluation of the official exchange rates on consumer prices. Autogas has been touted as a cheaper alternative. Let's get a sense of how that's going. Joining me right here in the studio is Prince Bambo Ademilui, Chairman, Autogas Committee, NLPGA, and the past Chairman, LPG Group, LCCI. Good morning. Great to have you on the show.
Good morning.
So looking at the inflation numbers for August, it is expected, after, the petrol subsidy removal, it was expected that prices were going to go up for petrol. And we're seeing oil prices already rising in the global market. LPG is supposed to be that alternative. How's the conversion rate, right now?
Today, LPG is about 358 naira per liter, while PMS is about 580 to 600.
Right.
And when you use it in Autogas, you will almost get the same mileage from use of a liter of LPG with PMS. So you're saying you can save about 40% of your costs by running LPG in your vehicle, or indeed other equipment. A lot of people are using it now, converting their small generators. I passed my neighbor.
Right. And definitely, we've seen, I've seen on social media, people already converting. But looking at, checking out data right now, has the conversion, the same demand that we saw for conversion, when, petrol prices rose, is that same demand still, is that what we're still seeing right now in the market, or has it waned?
The demand is increasing. In actual fact, I met a gentleman about a week and a half ago who said he was importing 5,000 conversion kits for generators, petrol generators. I said, you will sell them? He said, in fact, they will go in a short time. Yeah. So the demand is increasing, even for cars, because LPG is available. That's the beauty of it. It's already available.
Right.
Remember, Nigeria went into the add-on filling stations scheme, where people were told to put LPG in their filling stations for sale for cooking. But now it's becoming useful for Autogas, because people are converting their cars to use LPG, and they are buying from these same sources where people go to fill their cylinders for cooking. I have a car that's been burning LPG for 11, 12 years. Although, you will call me a missionary, because I started when nobody was interested, because I knew LPG was available, and we had the conversion kit, and we converted the car, a Kia Sportage. It's been everywhere. But when I'm going to Ife, it's cheaper for me, so I fill up gas and I travel with it, because I'm traveling long distance. And when I get to Ife, I switch to petrol again and use within town. When I'm coming back, it's gas.
And looking at your own personal experience, the car has been functioning.
In fact, functioning better.
Any changes to how you service the car?
Of course. With your PMS, you will service the car maybe at about 5,000 kilometers use. But with LPG, we could do 7,000.
So you don't have to service that often?
You don't have to service too often, because you see, it's gas. So the combustion is complete, almost complete all the time. If you look at the exhaust, it's clean. If you look at the engine itself, if you open an LPG, a gas-fired engine, it's clean. There's no carbon deposits. So that's the advantage of using LPG.
All right, let's look at costs now. I know I saw a headline this morning that marketers were warning that a 12.5 kilogram of gas could hit 18,000 naira, by the end of this year. And definitely I was afraid. I'm like, okay, so what happens to the cheaper alternative?
When I was coming, somebody called me to talk about that. That is it true? And I said, There's nothing that can be further from the truth. It's not likely. That means you're doubling the price in the space of 3 months. What could cause that? It to be a world crisis. Because LPG is not only available locally, we're still importing a lot of it. So even if there's a total blank out in the local production, we can still import. And indeed, the imported product these days matches very closely with the Nigerian product. Yes, sometimes cheaper. So I don't see a...
So you're saying the warning from the marketers...
I don't know which marketer is this way. They are probably being mischievous.
Right. Well, we'll keep tracking that too.
Yeah,
and hopefully that doesn't happen.
No, I don't think we'll happen.
Well, let's look at costs of conversion now. It says that converting a petrol car to autogas costs about 300,000 to about 400,000 naira.
About 300.
That's a lot of money, really, because the average consumer is already squeezed on all sides. What's the plan to make this affordable, the conversion?
Really, for conversion, to make it popular, that is where government really needs to come in. Because they are talking about subsidy of petrol. But when you now subsidize the equipment itself, it's more lasting and it's going directly to the individual, especially the transporters. You convert for a transporter, maybe make him pay half and then pay the rest over a period of time or something like that. That makes it convenient for him because for every full tank, he's saving some money. And in a space of a year, that cost of conversion is gained back and it's yours forever. I've not had to do any maintenance on my conversion kit since I bought it 11, 12 years ago. So there's no maintenance and you are saving cost of fuel every day. So that makes it very, very easy. But that cost of conversion is where government can come in to ensure that people get it more affordably.
And I'm wondering, can the government actually afford to subsidize that? Because
of course, I think government has been talking about subsidizing conversion for a while, even from the last government, because there were two groups that were working extensively with us in NLPGA on this. There was a group in the Vice President's office that did extensive work. They really went around the country. We joined them in a lot of the trips to find out what needs to be done. And they had recommended that kits should be bought to support, especially the local transporters, to make them convert to the use of LPG. There's also the Nigerian Gas Expansion Program, which did a lot of work. And most of these guys are technocrats in government. Maybe that's why we didn't hear much about them. If they were like us in NLPGA, we will tell you, we are doing this, we are doing that, and all that. So there's a lot of work that's going on, and government can actually intervene. That is LPG is a quick intervention tool for Autogas because LPG is already available all over the country. There's nowhere you go in this country you won't find a gas plant. And any gas plant can supply Autogas. All they need is just that conversion kit to key into their hose and then fit into the cylinder of the car.
And talking about, subsidies, definitely in Nigeria, subsidies actually, give some kind of foul taste, right now.
Yeah.
Is there any risk of, this particular subsidy? Is there a risk of it being mismanaged?
If it's applied directly to the user, end user, you talk to the owners of the fleets, the transporters, you walk through their unions. The unions are very strict. They are very, very strict. If they give it to you and you go and sell it, they don't take lightly to it. So you use the unions, and NLC is talking about it. They could use it with civil servants. They could give it to civil servants and ensure that they fit it so that they can, and that's some subsidy for them because one, government has subsidized the acquisition, and then they are now spending less with their vehicles to go to work and back and have their social activities. So it could be applied directly to the users. And that way, the middleman cannot enjoy circumventing the success,
So there's minimal risk of mismanaging
there's minimum risk. Because these are people who make a lot of noise usually. Civil servants don't try to cheat them,
right?
Or even the transporters. So it's only people like us in the private sector who might not have a direct, you may not in channels.
Right. All right, let's look at the risk now of using, Autogas. Aside from reducing your trunk size, because, having to put the canister, in there.
Yes, that reduces
any other risk?
There's none whatsoever. I tell you what, that cylinder in your boot is safer than your petrol cylinder.
Really?
Safer. In the case of an accident, the petrol tank explodes in accidents. The LPG cylinder will not, because it has an automatic shut-off valve. Shuts the cylinder.
What about when the car is, closed and in the sun, the heat?
It's all designed. In fact, these days, there are even fiberglass cylinders. They're stronger than steel. And you see, there's provision for expansion. So no matter how hot the boot is never going to explode. I've been using LPG 11, 12 years. I've not heard of that accident happening anywhere in the world. And in 1991, we went to Brazil and Argentina to study gas as an alternative fuel for vehicles. And since then, I've been on the International Association of Natural Gas Vehicles. I've not heard one report from mails sent to us on any explosion.
Right.
I don't know of one.
Going into 2024, what are you seeing for adoption of Autogas?
What I see, or what I would want to see, is a situation where government actually promotes the use of LPG for Autogas and for domestic use. By that, you could actually extend it to power generation. You know how? Your LPG plant is maybe like a 20-tonner in a small town. And I use a place I went to in Ghana, Sekondi. Sekondi is like Badagry. I took a car hire from Takoradi to Sekondi. And the guy that took me filled up his LPG. In Ghana, virtually all the taxis run LPG. Virtually all. I don't know, I don't think I've gone in a taxi in Ghana, in Accra or Takoradi, because those are the areas I operate in, that doesn't use LPG. So the guy bought his gas there, and people were filling for cooking. Guess what? He had a pipe from the tank, the station had to a generator. And I said, why do they have this big generator? He said, they are supplying power to the community.
So Ghana is already fully adopted.
Yes. I'm talking of it. This place like Badagry is even, Sekondi is a small place, a community where there's no industry, there's nothing. And they're already enjoying gas for cooking, for Autogas, and for power generation, just from one small plant.
All right.
And now that the president has generously said that we can generate our own power, there's absolutely no reason where the small villages, somebody cannot just go and throw on there and then burn gas and provide gas for all these uses. And
over the weekend, the NNPC signed an MOU on gas production. So I guess good days ahead, and hopefully, adoption continues. And I hope to be able to
regulatory agencies they are working alongside SON, NMDPRA. They are all working to make sure that these things are met.
All hands on deck.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prince Bambo Ademluyi, Chairman, Autogas Committee, NLPG. It was great having your perspective today.
Thank you very much.